Hello everyone, we are back on Gelvin Valley. Let me get our course going here. Harvesting grain in field number 42, clear over on this high edge, if you will. Oh, no combine in sight. Well, as we start this up, it will just select it manually. There it is. There actually is a combine. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, that's going to be enough just to miss it bit. We'll head over to our combine, get it cranked up. I don't know if it'll... Oh, it'll maybe let us... Maybe it'll let us higher. Yeah, we are on a treacherously steep hill and headed towards the evening doing some harvest. I don't know if it'll get dark before we finish this particular field. But here comes our faithful course play, haha, coming across here, and we'll hopefully unload this guy. We'll see if he can get lined up with the combine. Seems to have lots of difficulties doing that. Come on, no, turn. You know, you didn't have to go so far out there. Well, I think it works a little better once we get into some of the inner rounds. Let's see, can you drive from here? No, you know, there's really no need to head towards the fence. It's like it's trying to line up perfectly. They're stuck in traffic. Oh my goodness. You most assuredly are not. No? Oh, faithful course play. Alright, we're going to do this one manually. And I'm going to turn loose the combine assignment. Harvest in full swing. We are on the south side of the valley, if you will. We have field 32, 37, 38, and 8. For some reason, I still have fields 25. You know, I got a bunch of... I don't know how I own these again. I'm pretty sure I've jettisoned fields... Oh, let's see, 19 and 20, 17, 26, and 39 and 40. I have no idea how I own them again. Probably what I need to do is do an edit outside. It must have been a save game glitch. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I think we'll let our tractor sit here for the moment. Let me head. Oh, we don't want to be in our... Oh, yes, we want to... Here we go. Try to get the right perspective on these. I'm going to head in and do a little more raking here. Or did I finish? No, I don't know that I did. Well, you know what? Yes, I did. I guess I have forgotten kind of where I'm at. Maybe I could head in on the other one and do the opening round. Just trying to keep up with this. At some point, we'll be dragging the baler through here and picking up all the aftermath of the harvest. Try to stay out of the way of the combine, of course. Well, last time that we were in here, I'm trying to remember what the topic was. Maybe it was a farm accident, you know, with a mint harvester. That might have been what we talked about. This time, I was thinking a little of my son, who is a beekeeper. Oh, bother. You know, if you just stay out of the fence... Come on, put it in 4-wheel drive. Get the 4 tires going. Yeah, that just isn't recuperating. Come down here just a wee bit. I will... Oh. I just need to help him a little bit to finish out. Oh, and I've got my speed limiter somehow, and I always forget what is... There we go. Alright, so 75, 95 is at thing full. Alright, now he's full. Pardon me, sir. I'm gonna back around here, try to send him off. Don't pay any attention to me running over the crop shamelessly. Alright. Go. Go, go. I'll try to take this guy on around. Anyways, I was saying, I was thinking of my son, who is a beekeeper, and I've been trying to encourage him to start up a YouTube channel to share about his business and to just share about the nature of beekeeping. And I know there's a lot of channels out there already for beekeeping. I guess what I've tried to encourage him with is that I think would be unique to him as he's a young man. You know, it seems so many professions, especially when it comes to farming and agriculture, are filled with, this isn't going to sound right, but it's filled with old people, kind of just the way it is, not in all cases, but I have a feeling in a few years there's going to be an enormous transfer of hands of a lot of these things, you know, into the next generation, and it's just kind of the nature of the beast. And maybe there are a lot of young people who, for whatever reason, aren't interested in pursuing farming or agriculture in any of its forms. And I just think he would have kind of a unique perspective, kind of as a young person, you know, getting into beekeeping and sharing not only, you know, his perspective on the beekeeping itself, but also perspective as a young person, you know, trying to do it, you know, being entrepreneurial about it, you know, because really doing it, he's not only getting into beekeeping, he's getting into owning his own business and, you know, satisfying customers, one day, you know, potentially having employees to deal with, and just lots of those skills that you don't often see being worked on, you know, with a young person. So anyway, I've just, I sound like I'm bragging on my kid, and maybe I am. I'm very proud of him. But I've just encouraged him to share these things, and it's one way to document a person's life a little bit, you know, and kind of the journey, and you can look back on some of these things and see how far you've come, see what you've learned, whatever. And in the meanwhile, you can inspire and at least interest a whole lot of other people. There may be financial considerations, although I would never recommend getting into YouTube thinking you're going to make a fortune. You really do have to know what you're doing in order to make money on this platform. What do I hear beeping? Is that my tractor having issues? I'm missing that dab by the edge. But anyway, you know, it got me to thinking just a little, is your job GoPro worthy? You know, one of the things, you know, if he was going to share a little bit about these things, is he would have to presumably wear a GoPro camera, or somehow set up his phone, talk to it, and he's done this a time or two, you know, to explain what he's doing, showing all these bees and things he's looking at in the hives. and it's admittedly kind of, it sounds like a pain in the neck. I can't imagine strapping on a GoPro camera, taking it wherever I go, or a tripod or something, so that you constantly have a camera on you to catch up all the footage of all the things you're doing. And I don't know that you would do it or have it on constantly all day long. Maybe you would. I mean, you never know just when those moments would arise, that you'd have something to talk about. And, person just ran them over. The boss that he has is a real character in his own right. My son works for a beekeeper in the summers, and he has a very, when I say character, he's just a a fascinating individual, at least to me. Just the way he talks, the way he looks at life, and maybe most of the general populace says anybody who's willing to be a beekeeper is, somebody that's just a little different. I mean, who willingly goes out to work with little creatures that'll sting the daylights out of you. And the same thing with my son. I admire him for doing that. He's been stung more than I would in probably 100 lifetimes, just up through his teenage years and everything. Climbing the mountain back to the field. So you get a flavor of that, watching these videos or whatever, and just learn about these things. But there's all sorts of things, that he could share or show. And for whatever reason, he's a little bit reluctant at the moment to do it. And I get it. I mean, and it wouldn't be that you would have to show your face. Although when you're doing real life stuff, probably at some point you do have your face out there. But hey, I mean, we all have our faces out there in public anyhow. It's not like we walk around with a bag on our heads. So YouTube would just be a broader platform or whatever to put your face out there, and there'd be people in other areas of the country or even world, that would see you. I'm dumbfounded at times, the people that see even my silly content, from nations that I never would have fathomed. And maybe it was just an errant click, a mistake. They didn't intend to click on it. I don't know. But it's pretty interesting the reach, that this can have for other people to see your stuff. But, there's differences in jobs. For him, I believe, he's got a GoPro-worthy job. Anybody that is out working with their hands, mingling amongst people to do the daily business, has what I would call a GoPro-ready job, assuming, I know when you're out in public, there's all sorts of YouTube videos on this too. It is legal to, and if you're in public, you have no expectation or right to privacy per se. I think that's been proven over and over, and you can look up ads and YouTubes on people filming the police, and the police don't necessarily like it, and you got that whole dynamic going. But people are within their rights to film the police. And any of us, if we're just going to Walmart or walking down the street, if someone wanted to film us, we really can't tell them to not film us. I mean, because we're in a public place, and it's presumed that if you're in public, anybody can see you and film you, do whatever they want. So, but there are, if you don't want to be a jerk, obviously it's better to ask people's permission, if they want to be filmed or that kind of thing. It's just much better for PR. And there are certain jobs, you have, like I feel like the one that I have, that, yeah, I get put on a GoPro because I do see people, even though I'm an accountant. Not all accountants. We do talk to people sometimes. But the nature of my work is very confidential and private, and people just, they don't want their financial details just hanging out there. Most people don't anyways. I think I've maybe mentioned before that I am convinced there are some people, not all people, some people who would sooner take their clothes off in public than they would to reveal their financial information. That's how close to the vest, a lot of people hold their finances. So I can't imagine having a GoPro on me and talking to people about their private affairs and have them be okay with that. Nor would I want to hide it from them. I mean, shoot, it would become known at some point anyhow, where someone would figure out, hey, there's footage of you on YouTube. My father here the other day, I work with my father in public accounting, which deals with taxation and financial statements. It's the financial world. And my father was invited, I think this was a year or two ago, to speak at a local college about some tax law that was coming out. So he did this. I think he spoke for 45 minutes, an hour, I don't know. But I just happened to run across it. It's interesting. You look up on YouTube, you look up the names of people that you might be surprised what you find out there. And sure enough, I found they had taken a video of him and they put it somewhere on YouTube. And I pointed this out to him, and he was a bit flummoxed. He said, well, don't they need my permission for that? And I said, no, I don't think they do. When you are invited and you speak publicly in a certain place for it. Let's see, Combine is telling me to stop. Why would it tell you to stop? There we go. Ooh, hopefully he figures out where to go. Alright, back this way. So, I mean, there's all that going on, and some of that is probably just something to get used to, and, I've never shown my face. I'm just doing these silly games in here. There's no need to show my face. I know there's others that do, and I don't know. Maybe when you see the face of the person behind the voice, I don't know if that makes a person more likely, or if that makes any of us more likely to listen to that person, or I don't know. I've explained my motives before for what I'm doing in here, and it has nothing to do with profit motive or gathering an audience or anything like that. So that isn't the reason I do it. But what about your job? It just seems there are certain, I've talked to my uncle, who's a farmer with Lone Oak, to see if he'd be interested in it. Just barely brushed the topic. He's a busy farmer. You would have to, I think all it is, if a guy is gonna do it, is you kind of just have to get a system in place to make it easy. Maybe that's the term for it. Turn hard, can you go? And just get it set up so that it becomes second nature and routine. To where you aren't fumbling around with your equipment. It doesn't take you an hour to set up because, everybody's busy, you have work to do, and so you don't want your video taping or whatever, videotaping, whatever you call it, to take over the work, that you have to do. And granted, it's going to take a little time. Obviously there's going to be some editing later on, but I'm talking in the day-to-day. If you have it strapped to your, the front of you or to your hat, even if you got gloves on your hand, hopefully you have a way to turn it on so it can go, but you can turn it off when you want it off. What are you doing here? Well, that's kind of bizarre. I don't know why you're going slow right there. I wonder if I slowed there when the course was made. From the recording. Maybe I'll just say maximum speed. Is this going to get me in trouble? We'll find out. Let me go back to the field. So I think that's probably an important key of being successful at it. Especially if you're going to do it on a shoestring, nobody can generally afford a big old camera crew, to follow them around or those kinds of things. Or if you can, shoot, more power to you. But most of us, we don't have the luxury of that. So anything you do is going to have to be by yourself, and so you need to make it easy for yourself, if you're going to do it. It seems like if you are out working with your hands, that you would have a perfect opportunity to film yourself. If you can do it pretty easy. And maybe some of the hard part is if you don't know when you're going to be interacting with others, having a camera in their face, everything changes when someone puts a camera in your face. Some people get angry, some people they freeze up, some people they totally change their personality, their demeanor, because, of course, none of us want to be caught misbehaving on camera. So I realize there's some of those changes and dynamics, but if you're off in the woods working with your bees, there isn't a soul around that's going to hear you, see what you're doing. It seems pretty safe. You could put something together. I think of the clients, that we serve at our office, and a number of them are in excavation. So if you're out working on a dozer or an excavator, it'd be a perfect opportunity to have a camera going, talking to it while you're working. Just lots of those things out there. But my job, not so much. It's interesting, we have talked at our office about recording some things. Every now and again, for example, we'll put on a seminar for our clients, maybe about some tax issue, some accounting issue. I've taught a basic bonehead level accounting course, just the nuts and bolts of how to put some numbers together, what they mean. And we've talked about trying to record these, because sometimes people don't have opportunity to come to a class to take it live. Sometimes we get busy, we're not always able to put it on. So maybe we make a video so we have something available for people when they're not able to come in, or we're not able to put it on live. So even in our industry, there are some things that get recorded, but it's kind of generic, and there's a whole I think we've talked about that before. It is so fun talking to people about their work and how it goes for them, what gets them up in the morning. I really enjoy doing that, whether it's with our clients or other people, that I'm just interested in. And it just fascinates me, and I probably drive them nuts, with a number of questions that I can ask, just as I, try to figure out what it is that they do. And one of the things I would say is it's hard for me, it's very hard on me when someone does that to me, to try to explain some of the things that I do day after day. A lot of people probably look at the work that I do and think of it as pretty boring, and maybe it would be to them. I don't know, or there's all the stereotypes of accounting. They think we sit there and we just work with numbers all day, and it is not true. We don't. Yes, we work with a lot of numbers, but the idea that we're sitting there just playing with numbers all day, or sitting on a spreadsheet, or looking at columns of data, no, that isn't what we do. But by the same token, wow, this guy is zipping. By the same token, it's hard sometimes to express what it is that we do. Maybe I should put him back on recording, because the eyes start to glaze over. It's I think when you get into it and you start learning it, it becomes very interesting. We're dealing with real life all the time. For example, this past week, one of my clients, I issued a set of financial statements he needed me to put together for him. And his business is frankly on the rocks. He had a horrible year. He lost millions of dollars, and he needed these financial statements to go to his banker. Well, he needs them every year, but he particularly needs them this year so that he can work with his banker to try to keep his loan alive so he can stay afloat in his business. And when you see someone's life work, their hopes and their dreams going up in smoke, and being in a position to try to help them, to keep it going, the emotions that are part of that, the business that's part of that. I mean, to me, that's fascinating. And I won't say what the particular industry this is for this fella here, but there's just issues. It's a family business. You have the dynamics of people working together, people that say they love each other, they're the same blood, same family. And so you have that going on in here. You have a man that I don't think really understands business, and I'm not saying I fully understand it either, but he's very entrepreneurial driven. He's definitely no dummy, but I would say understanding finance is not his forte. And so that's where hopefully someone like me can come in and help explain these things to him. But once again, I go back to the GoPro. That's all fascinating to me. Maybe it would be fascinating to someone else, but there's no way I could ever record that or put it on a GoPro. Just couldn't. I mean, he wouldn't stand for it. Even if I'd say, well, you can't do anything about it, he'd probably say, well, fine, I'm going to find another accountant, which would be his prerogative. Because, like I say, people are so private about all their personal details. Oop, we're going to hit this, and I'm going to take that off. Glad I could be here. Let me try to cut a cookie around this a little bit. Get around the tree. We'll come in here in a little bit and try to get around the tree. Get every last bit of the precious crop. So anyway, any of you listening to this, listening to me pontificate with all this, how about your job? Are you in a position to where if you really wanted to, you could take a GoPro camera with you, show the world what you do day by day, and would it be something that you think would be interesting to others? There's probably a reason that on the television shows, I'm thinking of, is it Discovery Channel? Maybe it's History Channel. I don't remember. Who is it that makes The Deadliest Catch? Where you see all these crab fishermen out there. Now, granted, there's several boats. There's a full-on camera crew that's following these guys. They're not doing it on their own. But that has gone a couple decades, and people remain enamored with it. It is just so different from the norm that I don't care if you're a hardened, person that works on the sea or a desk jockey like me. There's things like that are just fascinating. Oh, yeah, the turning algorithms here aren't the best. Let's get you turned down. And you can think of many other shows out there that were chosen to go, to be televised, where, and generally speaking, I would say it's always something with a product that you can see with your eyes. My product, where I work, is intangible. The only thing you could literally see is the people that we talk to. You could see maybe the financial statements that we produce or the tax return, but who wants to see all that? It's just paper. And now, granted, when I look at it, I tend to see something different. The wheels of my mind kind of turn. Where when I look at a balance sheet, for example, I see in my mind, what the person has. So you can practice that, but most people aren't gonna do that. But if they see a crab fishing boat, if they see an excavator at work, if they would see a beekeeper like my son doing what he does, well, now that's something tangible. It's something they can sink their teeth into, and it's something that, is a little more compelling to watch than would be an accountant working at his desk. My kids here the other day got me to put another app on my phone. It's called Be Real, I think it is. So at certain times of the day, which happen at random, it tells you to be real and show a picture of what you're doing. The way this thing works is you take your phone up and it takes a picture in front of you and then a picture of, the person holding the phone. Well, it is quite boring for me because day after day I'm at my desk, and that's what the pictures are, that's what they consisted of. There's only so many times I can take a picture of the pencil sitting on my desk, or the stapler, or something on the screen that isn't confidential. Whereas, when I look at the pictures of one of my sons puts out, he's doing something with his bees, and it's different every time, where he happens to be. It's just a lot more compelling, to see. So, anywho, maybe we'll leave this right here. Let's see kind of where. Alright, he's still headed to go dump down here in storage. So, we just heard the bell go off. Tell me in the comments if you're willing, what kind of work do you do? Do you think it's something that if you recorded it, people would be interested to see it? And have you ever tried it? And what's been the reaction? So, in the meanwhile, we'll sit here with our combine. We'll wait for the return of the offloader. And you all have a wonderful day until I see you again here on Gelvin Valley. Thanks so much for coming along, sharing part of your day with me. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.